You are live. Go live. Okay. All right. Hey, y'all. So tonight is episode 6. Hey, Mika. Tonight is episode 6 of Mirror Talks. It's the second episode for the men series. But if y'all give me 1 second, I'm going to say, hey, y'all. Oh, y'all coming in tonight, huh? Oh, okay. I need to send out the link to the YouTube. So y'all give me like 2 seconds. I'm gonna share it on Facebook. If y'all would please share tonight. Gonna be really, really good. I got somebody famous on here tonight. Thank you. How do I share? Copy link. But y'all come in. I want y'all to send this to your brothers, send this to your fathers, your uncles, your cousins. If you have a important man, important black man in your life, I want you to go ahead and send them the link. We are on tonight. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. I finally figured out how to we up in here for the info. Mika, please, girl. I want y'all to send the link. It's gonna be really, really good tonight. We got some really good questions, and I have somebody who is an amazing black man, and he is just, y'all, he's so the wealth of knowledge, y'all. He's so amazing. Hey Sean, hey Chanel. So many of y'all probably have seen him, have seen his work, have seen the amazing things that he's done over the years. I'm gonna wait for like 1 more minute. I'm gonna send this out to a few more people, and then I'm gonna bring them up, and we're gonna jump right into the live. This my uncle. Y'all can't have him. I'm screaming. Y'all is a mess. Okay. So I'm not gonna belabor the time because he is a very busy person. So we're gonna go ahead and bring him up, and we're gonna get started. Hey,
What's going on?
The people say they here for you. That's what Mika said.
They just being silly.
Talking about maybe next week. No, you can't have the one next week neither. He married. So y'all, this is, and he probably gonna look at me crazy when I say it, but I am gonna say this is Pastor Adrian Davis because he gonna always forever be PAD to me. I don't even think you remember this. I'm finna take it way, way back because I think you probably just remember me from All Nations, the like interest meeting, but we met before that. So you did a conference for Shantae Trescott with Wives and Waiting. Wow, I was her assistant, so I was the person you were speaking with.
Wow,
and I
didn't. So long ago.
Yes, that was like 2013, 2014.
Yeah, that was a long
So
time ago.
I didn't know who you were then, and then it didn't click until years later, even after I met you with All Nations, that you were the same person.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So this is Mr. Adrian Davis. He is the King Comma. If you don't know what the Commas Agency is, it is a family, it is a community of multi-hyphenate, multifaceted individuals who, let me make sure I say it right. The proper punctuation gives you the right to be more.
Yeah.
So a lot of people met me as a admin, but now I still do a little admin work, but I'm also the owner of a cosmetic brand. I'm also a makeup artist. I'm now also an author. I'm now also a podcast host. So I didn't stop at that one thing. It's a bunch of commas. I think I started following from Periscope. Listen, them Periscopes used to be so good. Oh, them
Absolutely.
Periscopes used to be so good. We had a good time on Periscope. Um, Julian said, I remember that conference, the Mosaic. Yeah. Oh my goodness, Julian, we didn't know each other a long time too. Oh wow. But y'all, towards the end of the live, I'm gonna let him tell y'all what. No, I'm going ahead and tell him now, cause I'm not gonna be talking a lot. I'm asking questions. I specifically did these episodes this month because I can only be me, y'all. So I'm saying how I'm saying. I wanted to offer a space for Black men to be able to speak where women could just be quiet and listen. I wanted to say shut up, but I'm gonna try to be politically correct. That you can just be quiet and listen. And you don't really have to give your opinion, just hear what they have to say. And so they said he being so humble. Tell them folks you got commas behind that name. Listen, he do a lot. But before we start, I do just want to put it out there that we are, because I'm part of the commas community, we are doing commas one day in Dallas, October 4th. It's gonna be from 8 to 8, correct? Am I wrong?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
but you can click the link in his bio. General admission and VIP. There are some amazing speakers. I think I have met every speaker except for one that is going to be there, which is what's his Pastor Goins? Is it Goins?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's the only person on the list that I have not met like in person, but I've seen AD do a podcast with him, and he's also preached at his church. That's the church we're going to on Sunday too.
I, I
I would
don't
have
know.
but needless to say, every person that he picked to speak, they are amazing people. They're going to bring knowledge and wisdom and gems. I'm not trying to do the announcements. I'm just letting the people know. So while you're here, like I said, if you're on Instagram, click on his bio. The ticket information and everything you need to know about Commas One Day is there. Y'all, all I'm gonna say is it's definitely a time. If you are a multi-hyphenate, multifaceted person and you just need community, it is, I feel like I can say this, faith-based. No, don't say that.
You said what?
Can I say faith-based? Like it's like kingdom
Yeah.
and culture.
Yeah.
So it's literally, if you feel, and I think I can only say it like this because AD has said it so many times and I resonate with it. If you feel like the world calls you too churchy, but the church calls you too worldly, it's like the ultimate melting pot, where you can be authentically you can love the Lord, you can run your business, you can do all of the things, and you don't have to hide behind a facade. And that's one of the things I absolutely love about the commas community, the commas agency, just everything about it is so amazing. So y'all get your tickets. It's gonna be, it's literally like a family reunion. Like you're gonna learn, but you're also gonna have fun. So that's the morning announcement. Now let's get into the questions. You ready?
I'm ready. Yeah, I'm ready.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
So the one thing I will say, y'all, that I absolutely love, when I did the women series, all of the women wanted to know their questions beforehand. None of the men know what the questions that I am going to ask. They just flowing. They just off the dome. So I actually absolutely love this because you're going to get raw, unfiltered, uncut. Like this is where you can. Now I am a Christian, I'm faith-based, but I'm one of the people who have the hard conversations, have the taboo conversations. So you might hear something that you may not necessarily agree with, and that's okay. But we're just here to learn, and we're here to hear what the Black man has to say. So tonight's episode, last week we talked about, not last week, the week before last, We talked to Tori Bryant out of Chicago, and he talked to us about singleness and self mastery and just being a man of God and dating and all of the things. And so, because I know my friend, like I know my friend, I'm gonna stay away from relationship questions, and we're gonna talk about brotherhood, burdens, and becoming. I know a little bit about his story, and I'm just happy that he came on to share his story with y'all. So the first question is: when you hear the phrase brotherhood, burdens, and becoming, what does it stir in you personally?
Um, I think the first thing that comes to mind is accountability. I think that um, brotherhood does not brotherhood without accountability is not brotherhood. It's and that level of accountability is not always like a lot of times, like when we hear accountability, we hear it from the standpoint of somebody being hard on you about what you said you were going to
Mm-hmm.
do or whatever the case is. And sometimes accountability can just be your brother reminding you of who you are and the space that you hold and the being that you are just across the board. Because I think it's not so much it's not so much the stance of like, oh, let me get on to you. It's also the accountability to allow me to love you, to allow me to be in spaces that that you may not want me to be in, and a lot of times for Black men, we don't have spaces that, you know, we feel appreciated, loved, valued, and things of that nature. So that accountability for the level of who we are and the love that which that we need, it's not always given. So accountability kind of comes to mind because that's in handling burdens. That's also in us becoming. That's in us becoming that the version of men that God desires for us to become. You
Mm-hmm.
know, is through levels of accountability. But the challenging part, even with myself, like uh it's hard. It's hard to allow um men in that space. And we're not even gonna talk on if it's hard for men to be in that space, how hard it is for us to allow women to be in that space, because we have to let down the Superman facade and we don't have it all together. And we hate admitting the fact that we don't have everything together. And that comes across in relationship, that comes across in friendship, that comes across in brotherhood, just everything across the board. It sucks, but it's a level of accountability that that comes to mind.
Okay. So with that, have you always felt like you had a safe space as a Black man, or did you have to learn how to create it for yourself?
Definitely didn't feel like I had it. And I'm still, at this point in life, um trying to um trying to um constantly not just create that space but trust that space, because even after it's almost like after something is created, if you build a chair, right, um then you have to get to the point where all right, I built it, now I got to trust it to sit in it. It's that same way when it comes to safe spaces. Is And I've stopped saying safe space. I've started saying I want a trusted space, right? Um because after I build it, now I gotta test it out to see if I trust that I built it well enough for me to sit in it. So even though you may have brotherhoods and spaces and places that, oh, well, like I got a friend here and I got a brother here. Now I have to test that. And that's hard because now I got to give you a little bit of information, more and more, to show you that I trust you. But then that can backfire, you know, that can, you can turn around and use the information that I said or that I shared with you against me. So now I'm at a space where um I gotta trust that. And that's difficult to do because we are just, wired to be and provide that for other people. And we are majority of men aren't taught to create that or check in with ourselves or create that for ourselves. We're taught to be that for somebody else. So we're taught to, serve other people. We're taught to provide for other people. We're taught to protect other people, but we're never really taught how to protect ourselves. We're never taught how to really provide for ourselves, and we're never really taught how to do what we are supposed to do for, someone else when we meet them or pursue them or date them. Now we have to really do that for ourselves. And I think that is a space that is created, but it's also challenging because now you have to, after it's created and after it's there, now I got to test it out and make sure that it's safe. And that's hard.
So it kind of goes into, so my next question is, well, I'm gonna not say safe space for the remainder of the life. What does a trusted space for Black men look like to you, and what are the elements that make it trusted?
I think, for me, it's a space where, honesty is appreciated and welcomed. And I think a lot of times, and this may ruffle some feathers, but, it is what it is. But I think a lot of times, like, we tell people we want honesty, but ask yourself, when the last time a man was honest with you, how did you react? Because we oftentimes, and I get it, I've been called everything under the sun, so my skin is a little bit thicker now. But somebody can call you a liar, and this is one of the things that I had to work through with my nephew, um, because my nephew lied to me about something. And instead of getting mad at him because he lied, what I asked him, what do I need to do to create the space for you to be honest? Because what we love to do is that we put the earnest on somebody else. Like, you lied, you so wrong, you lied, I can't stand you, you a liar, blah, 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 blah. And I understand that. I get it. But also at the same time, people don't lie just to lie. Well, there are some, but majority of the time people lie for self-preservation, or they lie because they are afraid that how you view them is going to be changed. So they're trying to hold on to an image that they feel that you have in your head. And so, like, a trusted place for me is a place that my honesty is welcome, and it is an atmosphere of honesty. So I had to ask myself before I got mad at my nephew, have I created an atmosphere of honesty for my nephew? Because obviously I hadn't. And what I did is that I looked at the last time I told him to be honest with me, and I got on to him. Like, I got to hear your honesty and receive that in such a way. I don't have to agree with it, but I have to receive it. So I'm not going to backlash at you because you were honest with me. And I'm not going to throw that back up in your face later on because you were honest with me. And I had to be honest with him to say, yo, I was wrong. I didn't, last time you were honest with me, I scolded you, and I'm sorry. So now you are afraid to be honest with me. And I think that it's just so easy to point the finger at somebody else and say, oh, like they're such a liar, da 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 da. But last time somebody was honest with you, ask yourself, especially if you are in um, brotherhood, sisterhoods, romantic, whatever it is, when somebody's honest with you, how do you respond? And so for me, a trusted place is a honest atmosphere. It's a vault, because majority of times people are internally dealing with so many things and they're holding on to so many things because we're in a culture where loyalty is not celebrated. Like, we're in a culture now where the secrets are going to the highest bidder and it's the biggest clickbait. So we're in a culture where podcasts are running rampant on telling other people's secrets. It ain't they secrets to even tell, it's somebody else. So it's like, So it's like now people are internalizing their wars, and like they're not communicating what they're dealing with, because they're saying, oh, I ain't finna be on nobody else's discussion on somebody else's podcast. And so now they're holding in that stuff. And I honestly believe this is why we have, you know, um, suicide numbers constantly rising. We have even heart attacks and things of that nature, especially within the African American community, because we aren't being forthcoming of information because we're holding that information. So I think a trusted space is an atmosphere of honesty, a place that it is a vote. I don't have to worry about this being repeated back to me through somebody else after I said it to you, just because you want to tell somebody what I share with you so you can have the latest gossip or have the latest whatever. And then I also think that it is a place where vulnerability is welcomed, and that it's always there. Like it's literally always there. Like I can come in and I don't have to put on the mask and act like everything's together when it's not. And those are the spaces that I honestly want to be in. It's if it's not welcoming of me being truly me, I don't even want to be there. If I have to perform in a space and I have to Mr. Bojangles a space and tap dance and, be, act like I'm okay when I'm not, that's not my space. And I don't want to be there, you know. So that's what a trusted space looks like to me, for sure.
I normally don't say much on these, but I have to chime into that part when you were talking about your nephew, because a few weeks ago, me and Jeremiah was in the car. I'm talking about daggone near an hour, because he just would not tell me what was wrong. And
Hmm.
I'm just like, what is, and after a certain point, you do begin to get frustrated because something's wrong and they're not communicating. And finally, when he through the tears and through the frustration, he did tell me, the reason he didn't feel forthcoming, and it hurt me as his mother, because it wasn't necessarily me, but me living in Texas for a year, he was around other adults that don't parent the way I parent, and
Hmm.
that don't hold space to be honest and vulnerable without repercussions.
Yeah.
And so he basically told me, like, it doesn't matter if I tell the truth. It doesn't matter if I say what's going on, because nobody believes me. And that broke my heart as a mother. And so I asked him a simple question. I said, do we need to get back to what we were doing when we lived in Atlanta? And he immediately perked up and looked at me and he nodded his head, because when I was in Atlanta, now Dylan couldn't do it back then, but I would have every Friday, we would have hot conversations, honest, open, transparent. Whatever you needed to tell me, whatever you needed to say, you could say it without the fear of getting in trouble, phone being taken, punishment. It was one of those spaces where whatever you say in this space is safe, is, no repercussions, no punishment. And so, just to that point, for me, raising two black boys, I'm happy to hear this, because it even helps me learn how to parent a bit more. Like, I know I got this, but I need to even keep it at the forefront of my mind that I should always be a trusted space for my boys. If they can't go and tell nobody else anything, they should feel safe enough to come and share it with me. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, I think that's the only way to to um, gain some level of truth at
Yeah.
times, especially for black men and black boys. Like, and unfortunately, nobody has to teach us how to lie. They don't. Like, and black boys, I believe, start off lying out of fear.
Mm-hmm.
We're afraid. We're afraid of the repercussion. We're afraid of what's going to happen if we are honest. We're afraid that if you know that I did X, Y, and Z, you're going to be mad at me, and I don't want you mad at me.
Mm.
And we don't. we never get the chance to explain it because when people hear lie, they write it off. You're
Mm,
wrong. You lied. Okay. But because it takes so much more effort to learn why, and we settle for you lied. That's it. That's all that matters. And that's
yeah.
not all that matters, because if I get to the why of you doing something, then I may understand your thinking, and then I can help you understand that, yo, I don't need you to be honest with me just for you to be honest with me. I need you to be honest with me so you no longer have to hold on to that secretly and
Mm,
then now be trapped in the shame. I can't tell
yeah.
you how many lies I had to, how many lies I told to be looked at a certain type of way, because I was afraid that if people knew the truth, then I would be less respected.
Gotcha.
So, but nobody cares about that. They care that you lied.
Yeah.
So you're a horrible person because you lied. That's all that matters. And then we hear it all the time. I hate liars. I hate liars. I hate liars. But then it's amazing that it's amazing we hate liars, but we lie all the time. Somebody asks you how you doing, you be
You
like, oh,
say
I'm
fine.
good. You're not.
Right.
But we give concessions for our lives because we know the intent while we judge somebody else's action. So what we'll say for ourselves is, I don't intend to hurt nobody when I say that. Well, and then somebody else hurt us, and we'll say, nah, they meant to hurt me. I know they did. No, how you know? How you know they meant to hurt you? You you you're just saying that because it does bother you. And I'm not saying that it shouldn't bother you, but what I am saying, that I think that it's a deeper meaning behind it, and we never do the work because it's so easy to settle and land on, I'm
Yeah.
mad at you because you
Because
lied.
you lied. Yeah. Yeah. I know you can't see the Facebook comments, but Kalisha say Cam is agreeing with you.
Oh,
Um, and Julian said we often don't create space for redemption, and that is so true. Because, like I said, when I found out that it wasn't even me why he didn't want to be honest, it was because of the environment he had been in the year that I was in Texas.
hmm
But it was like, but I have never made you. But you got to look at it. He's been in an environment for a year where he couldn't or he didn't feel safe enough to be honest how he is honest with you. So when you get back, it doesn't automatically make him snap back into, okay, this is my mother. She's a safe space. And so we had to work. We still working through it. Because even today, he came in my room and he was just borderline to tears. And he was like, "Mom, I don't want to go to school today."
yeah,
And I was like, "Why you don't you I mean, it's 6 o'clock in the morning." So I'm like, "Why you don't want to go to school?" And finally he came in and he was like, "Mom, I don't want to go to school." And I literally heard the Holy Spirit say, "Do not make him go to school. He needs a mental health day." And I let him come back. We went to Dylan to school. We came back. I let him sleep. Then I took him. We went and got acai bowls. I went and took him and got his instrument fixed. And then I took him to band practice. But he needed that time with me alone, because I also understand that in the space where his little brother is often looked at as the priority because he's younger,
hmm
sometimes he needs that space to feel safe. And because it's still a little boy, he only 15. So
yeah,
he's still my baby.
yeah.
But whew, okay. Um Well, you answered it. I love when y'all answer the questions before I get to them. Okay, so now we're gonna step into, it's really not about relationships, but it's kind of sort of about relationships, okay?
Okay.
What role do you think women, family, and community play in creating or damaging um trusted spaces?
Mm. Um, I think I'm not gonna say, well, I think anything can damage a trusted space, right? Like, so, but I think when it comes to women specifically, um, women have the capability, like anybody else has the capability to damage a trusted space. But I think women have the capability to damage a trusted space because I think women don't understand the gravity of their words. men, we're built broader, we're built bigger, we're built stronger than women naturally, in a natural sense. Our shoulders, well, that's the way God created us to be. Our shoulders are broader, um, and so our strength oftentimes lies in the level of physique or masculinity and strength and things of that nature. Women, your strength lies in your speech and the things you say. And so that's the reason why a woman can say some things to a man that will make a man feel this big and tear him down. And we will think like, oh, well, he can just rebound. And I remember I was in a relationship, and she was just accustomed to saying certain things and then bouncing back and acting like everything was all good, after she calmed down. And I'm still hurting from the stuff that was said. And I'm still replaying the stuff that was said. And I'm like, man, you think that way about me. And then she was like, oh, no, I don't. I was just mad. And I'm like, no, obviously you do. Like you said that. No, I don't. When I get mad, I just kind of say, and it's like, you, I think a lot of times women don't understand the gravity of your words, and also how much we care to hear your words and how much your words mean to us. And we will hold on to those negative things. It could be years later, and we still will be replaying what you said to us in our, in the back of our minds. And it doesn't mean that we haven't moved on, but it does mean that that trusted space just maybe has been damaged because of the moment. I think it's the same way with, like I was saying, like men are just broader, we're stronger, so forth and so on. If a man gets to a point where he physically hits a woman, he may do it one time, but she will always feel like that dude, you get so mad, you lose it. And I can't have that. It's the same way with women with words. You hold that much power, and where you're going to hold on to the physical action of that hit, we hold on to the verbal action of those words. And I'm not saying I believe in change, I believe in restoration. I believe that anything can be restored if parties are willing. But I would just admonish and beg of women to think about what you're going to say and the effect of your words before you say it, and spend more time doing that, please. Because I can't tell you how many men I've talked to that are still echoing damaging phrases in their heads that they are having a hard time. And they in marriages, they in whatever, like. And I understand things get heated, and I understand you want to say certain things or whatever the case is, but I if anything can damage that space, for women, it's not even a physical situation. Like, you can hit a dude, don't get comfortable doing that either, but you could, but your words probably mean more than you hitting him, honestly. Like, I done seen guys get over like a girl swinging on them or punching them or hitting them in the chest because they were hurting, um versus, man, she said this to me, bro, and I don't know how to rebound from this. And so I think that that trusted space can be damaged by being in the heat of the moment and just saying something in the heat of the moment.
I'm trying not to say it's funny that you say that, because I get so tired of saying it because it don't be funny. But coincidence that you say what you just said, because I was looking at my memories on Facebook 2 days ago, and it was a post about me and my ex fiance, and the post basically just said that he had did something to me. He was in the wrong. He knew I was mad, and my response to him was okay. And I went on to do what I was gonna do, and he said, "Wait, what's wrong with you?" because what he was accustomed to was Mercedes cussing him out. But I had started to get to a place. I hate it took me having boys to get to this place, but I started looking at how I treat a man. How would I feel if a woman treated my son that way?
Yeah.
And that began to change how I use my words toward men, because when I was younger, I was a little firecracker, honey, and I used to take pride in saying, "Yeah, I could have man down with my tongue," like, because I was I would use my words. And ladies, we got to stop that. It's not cute, and it's not. And if you are a boy mama, I want you to take into consideration that the very thing you do, there may be a woman that does it to your son. And how would you feel if it was done to your son? Like, sometimes we just have to take ourselves out of the equation and look at it from a different perspective. But I also feel like this. I say this all the time. Healed ears hear differently. Just like, what I'm saying, hurt. Like, you know how they say hurt people hurt people?
Mm-hmm.
So when you're healed, you hear, like, whatever you may be talking about, something, discussing something. When you're hurt, you're gonna hear it from that trauma and from that victim standpoint. But when you're healed, you hear it from what the man is actually saying. It goes back to when you said, how often do women really want a man to be honest? And then
Mm-hmm.
when you offer your honesty, they're offended by your honesty, but you asked for it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, and the thing is, like, I think we we say we say that, you know, you, growing up, we used to say that dumb thing of sticks and stones may break my bones, but
mm-hmm.
words will never hurt me. And I tell people all the time, if you ever say that, especially as an adult, you just ain't heard the right words yet.
You hear me?
The right words will. I would much rather somebody break a limb on me, because that I can they can reset it, put a cast on it. I may cry for a moment, but the right words, I'm still trying to recover
Linger
from.
for years.
I'm still trying to recover from words that I heard, when I was 30, that I heard when I was 25, that I heard when I was 16. And so we have to be very careful, and then, excusing the words that we said under the auspice of I was angry,
Mm-hmm.
because what that tells me is that you cannot control your anger beyond, like,
Mm.
so everything when you're angry gets an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as you're angry, that gives you an excuse. Oh, I was angry. Okay, well, if that's the case, we can just say, like, oh, I'm going to go out here and shoot somebody. I was angry.
Mm.
I go out here and rob something. I was broke. Everything can have an excuse to why we do
Yeah.
something, but that doesn't mean that you have to be present and still tolerate that. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And I think that we're asking, especially men, if I'm all the way honest, like, we're asking men to get over verbal abuse because it wasn't physical.
Mm.
So
Woo.
just because, oh, well, I didn't hit you, because we minimize the feelings of men all the time.
Yes.
Like, and I can't emphasize that enough. There is, like, even our culture and our government tells us often, we don't give a damn about black men. We don't care about y'all. Like, right now, if a black man and a woman were in a relationship and they got into a fight, an argument, let's just say an argument, that black woman or woman could call the cops. That man could not lay his hands on her. She could call the cops, and when she calls the cops, they're going to come and arrest him,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of anything that happened.
Yep.
He could not have laid a hand on her. He could not have touched her. He could not have done anything. They're going to come and arrest him, period. Then they're going to keep him and detain him. They will take him to jail. he will have on his record a domestic violence assault based upon whatever she said.
Yeah.
And I've seen it play out numbers and numbers and numbers of times. I had a legit stalker that I called the police on. The police told me, you're a man. Those are their exact words to me. You're a man. What do you mean? And I said, so if this person shows up to my mom's house again, then I put my hands on her, then y'all gonna take me to jail. And I'm calling to try to get some help.
Right.
We don't like there's nothing to protect us.
Mm.
Absolutely nothing. We and so when I say that, like we we can even now, if 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 a man has a story about a woman that did something or tried something, and then we say do you not understand? Like, because it's everywhere. If a man was on right now social media and did a video about this woman being, crazy towards him, hitting him, da 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 da, I can guarantee you somewhere in them comments somebody will say, well, what did you do to
What
make
you
her that
do?
way?
Yep.
What you
Yep.
do? Because what they're saying is her action is justified based upon what you did.
Yeah.
But if a man does something, the man has to have enough restraint to not allow what she did
That's
to
crazy.
make him not do nothing. He's judged by his level of restraint. She's judged by her level of excuse.
Jesus. Say that again.
So if we don't have restraint, we're judged. You a man, you should know better, you should do better, you should da 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 da. You supposed to be a man. You supposed to be a man, because now we have a culture of people telling a man how to be a man that didn't have men in the household. So everybody telling them what their version of a man is. A man does this, and how dare you supposed to be a man? Okay, well, then so a man is judged by his restraint, but then a woman can have an excuse for why she did what she did. Oh, well, she did this because he did this. He did so and so and so and so. So that excused her to do that. But if a woman does something, we got to practice a level of restraint.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. Did you watch Unknown Number, the high school catfish story on Netflix? So basically, y'all should have watched it by now, and this gonna be a spoiler. Basically, it turns out that a mother was the one sending the really inappropriate messages to her daughter boyfriend, kids at the school. And we was watching it before we came to LA, and me and Danielle was sitting and talking, and we was saying how if that had been the father, the mother only got 18 months, but had that been the father sending the type of messages that the mother was sending, and it just kind of like it. I always look at it like that now, and I know it's because I got boys, but it's just like that's crazy, because that man probably would have never seen the light of day again. For some of the, like the stuff she was sending them kids was, oh my goodness, it was disgusting. And I'm just like, now even what you saying is like watching that, and these were white people. So I know if it was some of us,
let me tell you something.
Child, please.
Under.
And so yeah, I'm child. Okay.
Under. You hear me? Under the jail. I'm just saying, like nothing. And I've had this discussion before. Because I tell people all the time, like there's no laws to protect us. A woman can do whatever and say whatever, and it's going to be justified. And I understand that women are the most disrespected creature on this planet. I get that, but also too, every woman is not a victim. It's not. And I really thank God that there are some women that have came out that, that are in the matriculation of their growth, and they've said like, yo, like I did when I was younger, I did this wrong and I did this wrong. And like I love that because we hear stories like that from men, and men are still gonna get judged for it because we are expected at some point when we hit a certain age just to stop doing dumb stuff, or to be men. And um uh the stance or the statement of a man is really subjective, right? Because everybody
Yeah.
has a version of a man. Everybody has a version of a man in their head. And I was talking to a group of Black men a few weeks ago, and I was telling them that the challenging part of being a Black man is that everybody has an expectation of you, and you got to meet the expectation of everybody for everybody.
Whew. Mm.
Everybody has an expectation of you, and everybody's expectation of you is different. My
Yeah.
my sister has an expectation of me to be a brother. My mom has an expectation of me to be a son. When I walk into a room, I can walk to this grocery store right across the street, and if a guy as a 6'3", 235-pound Black man, I walk into this grocery store. If a man is hitting a woman, do you know how many people gonna turn to look at me to see if I'm gonna do
It's
something?
if yeah.
That's called expectation.
Yeah.
I'm expecting you to do something. Do something. Like, and if there's no other men around there, and even if there are men around, here's the challenging part. If there are Caucasian men around, they probably won't look at them to do anything. They're gonna look at the Black man because we should be groomed for some level of war,
Mm.
some level of protection, because that's an expectation. And that is an idea at times that Black men should automatically know that. Black men should
Yeah.
and that's what I mean by it's subjective. Like, because a Black man in, I'm not saying that this is true, but I'm just saying, like, let's just say a Black man in my house, we could have just been raised that a Black man in my house is to, you know, cook and wash dishes.
Mm-hmm.
And I get out here to the world, they say, no, a Black man is to, be a protector and go get this money.
Yeah.
Then I go date somebody else, and then they got a different idea because their dad did something or wasn't there, and they watched their homegirl daddy, and all of her life she wanted a father like her homegirl had. So now that's what a man is to her. So
Yeah.
we have all of these ideas and expectations. And I think that a lot of times, and I know women, this is not being negative towards Black women or women in general. But what I am saying, and I think that women have at times a space to just be. Men don't have that. There's a level of expectancy that comes with men. Period. You start talking to a man, we expect you to do this. That's what men do. And I understand that. But a woman is allowed to just be. And at times, if a man is tired or if he's depleted or if he's whatever, we don't always get that space to just be.
You don't. You got the Holy Ghost a little bit because you literally just said going into the next question.
Okay.
So the question before that was basically asking how have those pressures shaped your sense of purpose? But I want to jump down to, when did you first recognize who you were outside of those expectations, your identity as a man, not just what the world demanded from you?
Um, I think I'm still learning that,
Okay.
honestly. Because for so long, my identity was always attached to something, right? So even in my formative years of high school, I was a myself and Pastor Chris, we were miming. And so it was, Adrian, even before that, I was dancing and stuff. So it was like, oh, Adrian at dance. All right, cool. Then it was Adrian at mime. Then it was Adrian, that's the drum major. Oh, AD, that's the drum major. And that's when AD came about because my dad's name was AD. So it was like, oh, AD the drum major. Then it was AD the preacher, when I started preaching young. And then it was And then it was, Pastor AD, and then that took on its own identity, and being Pastor AD all the time and feeling like I had to consistently show up in that space and be that person. And then, when I left Huntsville, um, now it's, trying to figure out, and I'm still navigating that space. I'm still, because it's years of undoing, it's years of rewiring, it's years of, getting to the core of who I am. And there are times where, I mean, you're in my subscriber group on Instagram. I do more content on my subscriber group than I do on my page, and mainly is because, for one, my subscriber group, wants to be there. They engage with the content, things of that nature. But then also two, um, it allows me to have a space to where it doesn't have to be all polished. It can be me putting it together. It can be me figuring it out. It can be, and I think that, I'm not looking at it like, oh, like somebody's going to take this and spin this, or, judge this or whatever. It's just, it's just a space for me to just kind of create and be there. And so I'm still figuring it out, because I think that majority of men are just wired to look at them being a man from the sense of them doing. If I'm not doing, I'm not a man. And so we get in that space where it's all about what I can do, what I can do, what can I do, what can I provide, what can I do for somebody else? And, and then we get into that mode, and it's just about that. Then it gets into, and I think for me, one of my greatest downfalls was like, trying to constantly show up in that space and constantly be something or a version of myself that, at times I didn't even feel that I needed to be or I could be. And so I was neglecting what I really felt to perform for other people. And then, then feeling like, after a while, it was like, I had to be this certain type of way. Then it was, money, and then it was greed, and it was all these things of, I gotta be this, and I gotta be this, and I gotta be this. And I didn't like that, I didn't like that version of myself. And so now I'm trying to figure out who I am outside of that, but it's still you know, I'm, I try to constantly give myself grace with it, because I'm a human, but I'm a human becoming. And, it's, that's what I am. And, I'm going to constantly be becoming until I pass away. So it's like, I want to constantly be growing in that space.
I love that.
Yeah.
Um, do you believe purpose for Black men is something discovered, developed, or demanded?
You said, do I believe what?
Purpose for Black men is something discovered, developed, or demanded.
Um, I think that is something that is discovered, but I also think that, I think it's discovered within ourselves, but I think that it is demanded by other people.
Okay,
Like it,
got it.
because I feel like with Black men, there is a demand on us to know our purpose, right? Like you
Mm,
encounter a man, and it's like, oh, you better know why you here. It's like, all right, but what if what if he's still trying to figure that
right,
out? Does that make him less of a man because he's trying to figure that out? If he's on
right,
if he's on a journey to figure it out, now it'd be different if he just didn't care. He was like, yo, whatever. But like, it doesn't make him any less of a man because he's
right,
trying to discover that, and also understanding that, me personally, I feel that purpose is a destination. It's not a, I mean, it's not a destination, it's a journey. So I
okay.
feel like so, like, for example, people look at purpose like a destination spot, right? So, it's like, when I get there, I've reached my purpose. No, that's not the truth, because the truth of it is, like, even if, let's say, your purpose was for a black man, I'm using the black man analogy. If the purpose for that black man was for him to be the CEO of Amazon, but on his journey, he worked at he worked at Applebee's for 2 years. He Then he left Applebee's and then he worked at T-Mobile. Now at Applebee's, he learned how to serve a customer. He learned customer service. At T-Mobile, he managed a small team. So he learned how to work in team relations and management skills and things of that nature. All of that was purpose, because the destination is not the purpose. The journey is. Everything serves a purpose for the time that it's supposed to serve a purpose. If I don't learn anything while I'm there, then then I'm not in purpose. But everything serves a purpose. Everything has a reason for my continual growth and my journey and what's going on. I have to, like, and I think that, like, it's discovered for us. But like I said, like, I feel like, people feel like, yo, you supposed to know. And if you don't know, you less than, and you don't have it together because you don't know and you need to figure it out, and so forth and so on. And I think that we need to take the pressure off finding purpose. We need to we need to identify purpose in where we are currently. It's not a destination, it's a journey. Like, an understanding, like, you can work a job right now that I'm not going to be working forever. But if that's what you understand, that, hey, I'm not going to be working this forever, then this is my preparation. This is not my destination, but it's still purpose within my preparation of right now. So if I learn what I need to learn right now, it's going to help me when I get to where I need to get to, because I don't want to get to my place and be ill prepared. So I'm going to learn everything that I got to learn, because that serves its purpose. So yes, that man may not, be making 6-7 figures or whatever the case is, but he knows, like, yo, like, I'm learning the intangibles and I'm gaining this and I'm understanding this and I'm gaining this along the way. If I learn all of that along the way, yo, all of that is within purpose. I'm within purpose.
Yeah.
Like, it's about what I'm learning. It's not. So I think it's I think it's a journey. I think we got fixated in our minds, like, oh, I'm in purpose when I figured it all out. You never gonna figure it all out. So what's gonna be next? So yeah, I think, yeah, it's for me, it's to be discovered, but I think people think it's a destination.
And the thing is, we're ever evolving, because I think you say all the time, if you're not growing your DEAD, I don't know what's gonna get me shut off, so I don't want to say no wrong word.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not growing, if you're not learning, then you're dead. And
Yeah,
so,
we were just talking about that on the subscribers thing
right.
today, right? It's like, yo, like, if I'm living, I need to be learning. You know what I'm saying? Like, every day that I'm living, I need to be learning. And if I'm not learning, then I'm really not living. I really don't know if I'm really living if I'm not learning.
Okay. Because, y'all, we got to wrap it up. And he still got 17 questions to answer. But I want to get to three questions that I really want you to answer. So let's see if you can do rapid fire. You probably can't, because be so deep and profound.
Sure.
Oh, what's something you wish women, whether mothers, daughters, sisters, or partners, understood about black men that often goes unsaid?
Um, I think it's being said more now, but um, that and I it's being said more now, but I still think that is being labeled in a negative way, because, and I think that it's simple as this, that men have feelings too. And and I think now that men are more communicative about their feelings, it's being is being labeled as sass. That when a man communicate, like, Y'all been wanting us to communicate how we feel. Y'all been doing movies about think like a man. Y'all been like y'all wanted us to talk. Now we talking and now we sassy. It's like yo, what y'all want? But I think one of the biggest things like is just understanding men have feelings too, man, and we're not robots, and just because we get up and make it happen and we make it shake doesn't necessarily mean that we don't get the right to feel. We get the right to feel and we feel it all. It hurts. It is challenging and it's bothersome, but yo, like we get the right to feel like, and we hurt. Like you can say things and do things that hurt our feelings. And I think that we land on anger, and I tell people this all the time: anger is always a second emotion. We land on anger because we don't want to do the work to find out what's the second emotion that we really feel, and most of the time it's disrespected or hurt. And so yeah, like we have feelings too, and I think that's simple as that. Like I think that y'all need to know that we have feelings too.
And I just want to thank you. I'm gonna take this moment to give you some flowers. I thank you for your transparency. It's people like you, Rob, Dr. Dorsey. A lot of times when I'm listening to y'all or watching y'all, Jeremiah is in ear length or whatever. And sometimes I'll replay a old podcast or an old mentorship Monday because something y'all said I need him to hear. Um, Please get your brother out the comment.
What do you, what do you say?
But y'all being so vocal about y'all feelings mattering and things like that. See, Rob, we've been serious this whole time until you came in.
Rob,
Um,
Rob just texted me he mad at me because we not doing the mix on Friday.
oh my goodness. Well, something else. Never mind. But I I stress this a lot. Jeremiah is 15, and how can I say this? This is what I see. I gotta say it how I see. So I feel like it's absolutely absurd to make a little black boy shut up all of his adolescent, teenage, adult, young adult life, and then when he becomes a man, he's able to adequately express his emotions when you didn't allow him to express his emotions when he was younger.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, because I've had people question my parenting. Dylan a little firecracker, and people be like, "He's so opinionated. He's so outspoken. Why do you let him? If he doesn't do it now, how is he going to be able to do it when he's older? How? Because Dylan asks a lot of whys, and not in a disrespectful way. Because the generation before is like our parents and our grandparents look at asking a question as disrespect
Mm-hmm.
when they're seeking information. Because
Mm-hmm.
how can I tell you that you're in trouble or not to do something without explaining to you why you're in trouble and
Mm-hmm.
why you should not do it?
Mm-hmm.
It's not enough to say because I told you so.
Mm-hmm.
I'm raising a little thug that be like, but mommy, why? And I have to give him an answer
For
that's
sure.
just not because I
Because you
said
said
don't
so.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the same with Jeremiah's. It was a old. This was I don't remember. It was one of your late night ones, and you literally said it. You were basically like, if they're gonna call you gay because you not doing nothing at a young age, like let them call you gay. Like you stand on your morals, you stand on your values. Because that's another thing I feel like with black men, y'all are overly sexualized. I can't stand when women tell me that my child is fine. What do you mean my child is fine? He is a child.
Mm-hmm.
That is absolutely absurd to me. And so black men, I don't know if it's done in other races, but I know for a fact black men are overly sexualized. And so y'all do have feelings and y'all do like it does matter. What you say? Oh, they calling you. How do you say that, AB? What is he saying?
You talking about Rob? Rob, Rob just smart. I don't. I don't. Rob be saying words that I don't even know. But here's the thing though. Like I think that we
Oh dear.
we are expected. Um, So crazy. Well, listen, she can call me that. It's okay.
I didn't say
Um,
that.
Now he was saying that you were saying because you was like, because I guess he still got 17 more questions, but he be talking.
But
So
it's good. We loving
yeah,
it. We
yeah,
love it.
but what I will say to that is that um we are expected to at some point where we've been shut down all of our childhood, middle school, and even into high school, and then all of a sudden we meet someone and she wants us to do the very thing that our upbringing has told us that we can't do. So now she's like, well, talk to me, share with me. And then he like, well, I'm good. And then she like, you so nonchalant. Not is because not because he wants to be nonchalant, it's because he's been groomed to be.
Yeah.
Because for so long, he
A
was just
lot there.
told he was just told to be quiet, shut up, whatever the case is. And that's not, you know, it's not healthy. It's really not healthy. And also too, majority of kids, I'm not just gonna say black boys, but kids in general, when you talk to a kid and they're trying to express themselves and they're angry, they cry.
Mm-hmm.
Any child does it. But boys are told
Shut
to
up.
man up, men, shut it up, shut that up before I give you something to cry. Before I give you something to cry about. I'm like, I'm already crying. What you talking about? You know?
Yeah.
And then so if we equate manhood to not crying, then sensitive topics make me want to cry
Mm,
because I'm trying to find the words to communicate what I feel. So that's an emotion that comes and it overtakes me and I just start crying, when you talk about certain topics or subjects or whatever the case is. So usually when a black boy starts crying, it's because something is connected to a deep rooted emotion that he's trying to convey.
mm-hmm.
So when it gets into deep conversation as a young boy, he articulates himself by crying. If we tell him to stop crying and then men don't cry and man up, then what happens? Those conversations that those deep conversations that are needed for him to have, now he doesn't want to have because they make him want to cry. So therefore, any deep conversation that pulls at his heartstrings or that pulls at his emotions, he avoids. So
Mm-hmm.
now he has an avoidance when it comes to difficult conversations. So now he falls in love with somebody. They want to know, well, why you love me? And then he wants to get into deep conversation, but he can't because now I've created a barrier for the last 20 years of my life that any deep
Mm,
conversation I don't want to have because it makes me cry. And then if making me cry seems like less than a man, now I'm afraid you're going to look at me less than. So I don't want to
wow.
lose the Superman concept when it comes to you. And I don't want you to look at me as less than. So now I'm not going to cry in front of you. So now I don't want to have deep conversations with you because I don't want you to lose how you see me.
Wow.
So that goes back to creating an atmosphere of honesty. That goes back to being vulnerable, all of that, because we have groomed our black and brown boys to be robots and not be human.
Mm,
Produce for me, protect me, provide for me. But if you need those things, you're less than. We got to understand, like, yo, like our black boys and our kids need protection too.
yes.
They need the right and the space to love too. And we should be able to give them that.
Yeah. I was gonna ask this question: what does the world consistently get wrong about black men? But I think we hear this too much, so I'm gonna flip it to what's the truth, the reality that often doesn't make the headlines about black men. Like I don't want us to focus on the like as we're getting ready to end. I don't want to necessarily focus on the negative that is said about black men. For
Mhm.
you, what's the truth and the reality surrounding Black men that
Mhm.
doesn't make the headlines in a positive light.
That we're doing an amazing job. Like like Black men really are doing an amazing job. And I know, like, they can say, oh, well, they're not present fathers. That's a lie. Plenty of Black men are present fathers. And I
Plenty.
and I think that Rob being one of those guys that's on here, like, he's an amazing father. I watch him be a great father. I watch Charles be a great father. We have great Black men that are fathers, that are showing up in their kids' lives. We have great Black men that are leading well. We have great Black men that, although not perfect, and see, this is another thing that I just want to say before we close this out. Like, we we oftentimes say two things can be true, right? And but what we try to hold over Black men's head is the negatives that they've done, and almost like this disqualifies them from doing anything positive.
Mm,
Like right now, I feel like there are so many Black leaders that our culture needs, but they're afraid to step up and be that, because all people are going to do is try to find out what's wrong with them, to parade what's wrong with them on social media. Right now, if Martin Luther King, if we had a new Martin Luther King, do you know what we'd be doing to him? Finding out, trying to dig into his marriage and find out if he cheated on Coretta,
mm-hmm.
and parade that. And
Yeah.
then, but two things can be true. Somebody can, have an infidelity and still be a good leader. Somebody can make, a bad decision over here and still make great decisions over here. We see it all the time in our everyday life. We do it with ourselves. We can not be so good at managing money, but be a great creator and be a great innovator. That's the
Mm-hmm.
reason why we hire a CPA.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot, so we don't have to be great at all things. And I feel like our culture tells us that we have to be celebrated, but Black men are doing a great job. And I think that we have to kind of give that some level of praise and some level of accolade, because
Absolutely.
I do believe that they're doing a good job.
Okay. So I'm gonna combine two questions together, and this is gonna be like the finale.
Mm-hmm.
When you think of becoming, what does that mean for you at this stage in life? And what legacy do you want to leave for the next generation of young Black men watching you?
Oh man, that's a heavy question, on, like, especially today. Today's been a rough day,
Oh,
but
I'm fine.
um I think becoming for me, uh I honestly don't know. I feel like doing what's in my heart to do, and not being afraid to try new things. And I think that I was talking about this earlier on the subscriber content, like having the courage to be bad at something temporarily. Like I I want to kind of just be known as somebody that wasn't afraid to try. Um and the legacy that I would want to leave, because I tell myself all the time, and like my grandfather told me this from the standpoint of ministry, but I apply it to legacy and just across the board. My grandfather told me real ministry outlasts your breath. And I view that way with legacy. Real legacy outlasts your breath. And I would just love to leave the legacy for Black boys, or for people that may be watching, or whatever, is for one, perseverance. Um, and also to, not being afraid to fail, because you're going to fail. It's a part of life. It is what it is, but not being afraid to fail is a huge, huge, huge thing, because if you aren't failing in some area of your life, you're probably not trying. And if you're not trying, then you're probably very comfortable in where you are, and you may live a very purposeless life. And so just not being afraid to try, and go after the things that you just can't shake. Like if it's on your heart and you can't shake it, try and try again and keep trying and keep trying. But but yeah, I don't know what becoming looks like today. um
And
Maybe I
that's
will.
okay.
Yeah, maybe I
That's
will in a few
okay.
weeks. But today is just not it. But I will say every day I'm trying to show up,
Yeah.
and um that's all I can do is just keep trying to show up, and prayerfully and hopefully, I'm like, hopefully God sees that, and he honors that,
Yeah.
um and and yeah, and just find a space where, especially for black boys and black men, man, try to find a space where it's a trusted space, and a space where you can be honest, to where you don't have to live in your own head about the lies that you even told yourself, or being so trapped into shame, you know. Um, and so, yeah, that would be probably be what I would, what I would want to leave.
Well, I love it. Jillian said this conversation is needed because sometimes as a woman, we base things off what we have heard or seen, whether it's on social media or through others, and it takes time to unlearn all these thoughts and opinions we've held on so tightly. But I'm grateful for a mind that's open enough to learn, listen, and hear a different perspective. And she said, "We love you, Adrian. Just a reminder, we do. We
Well,
love
I,
you."
I appreciate that. Yeah, and
And
that's
I want to
beautiful.
give you your flowers before you leave. I don't think you understand how instrumental you've been in my life for me to even do this. Um y'all, let me tell you something. A year or two ago, when AD was my mentor and my coach, child, I had 500 drafts. I wasn't posting nothing. I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do, but just watching you pivot, and I don't even want to say reinvent yourself, just watching you blossom into who you've become, and just the different things you're doing, and with the commerce agency and the commerce community, giving me space to be me unapologetically. Like, thank you. And so for all of us, I'm gonna just speak for all of us, like, we appreciate you, and your yes does matter. Like, you showing up, whether you see it in your bank account or whether you see it in sites or engagement, you have a community of people that when you show up, it helps us to continue to show up. And I know sometimes that may be looked at as a unnecessary burden in a sense, because sometimes I don't be wanting to show up because it's like, well, baby, if I can't show up, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to tell you. But just your perseverance, like, it's so inspiring. So, like, it really does matter. Like, your yes matters. Um, Today in the subscribers, like, everything you were talking about, when you were talking about just like, be okay with being bad. I feel like this is horrible right now.
It's
I
not.
feel like Mirror Talks is like, girl, what are we doing? But I know it's necessary. And I know just from the people who like DM me afterwards, I had Mika said some stuff to me, but then other people that I don't even know was like, where are the snippets of the live? Like, normally you show snippets, and I'm just like, I didn't I didn't feel like editing. But
Mhm,
people may not want to see the whole hour and something podcast. They
mhm,
just want to see a specific part that really spoke to them. And so for me, it's like, Mercedes, you got to keep showing up. And even though you don't have all of the equipment, you don't have a camera, I got this iPad, I got this laptop, I got this phone, I got these two ring lights, and I got this mic. and we gonna make it do what we do. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm I'm at the point now where I'm trying. I have a friend who knows how to do podcasts. She's done some podcast work, so we're trying to turn it into the audio version. Um, and so like working on that, but I just know that this is something that God been gave me.
Mm-hmm.
But it took a lot of failure, and it took a lot of falling on my behind, and it took a lot of shoot. I don't want to say that it took a lot for me to get here, and everything wasn't always like good. But being here today, sitting on here, talking to you, allowing you to express yourself, and then seeing how your words of wisdom are helping other people in the chat. And like, I ain't gonna hold you, this the most people I've had out here since I started this.
That's
But I
good.
always show up with the expectation of serving an audience of one, and that's me serving God.
Mm-hmm.
So even if nobody shows up but me and the speaker, I'm gonna press live and we're gonna talk.
Yeah, and I think that, but that's the mentality that every person. I think I said it on the subscriber content today. Like every expert was a novice at some point. Like we're living in a day and age where we can see a Casanat and go back to his very first video
Yeah.
with Speedy and his very first like we're seeing these people and the platforms that they built, and not because of their, I'm not taking anything away from them, but I'm not saying not because of just their talent, it's their consistency, right? It's like, they kept showing up and they were consistent and they had a they had a pattern, they had a structure, and they had a strategy, and they just continued to work it, and they continued to work it. And then that's the space that they were in, and they were just committed to it. And I think that um until we get to a space where we do it in spite of, we're not ready for the next stage.
Right.
Like, and whenever there's a decrease, or whenever there is a lack of finance, there should be an increase in creativity.
Yeah.
And so if we don't have it financially, that's where creativity steps in. And I think that people misconstrue that because they think that creativity is, well, I got money. Anybody can pay for something. If we can pay for people to be creative, and we can buy the latest stuff, and that will show up as if we're being creative. Creativity is when there's a lack of. That's what creativity is. I don't have it all, but let me figure out how to do it. That's where creativity
Yeah.
steps.
Cause
That's
I
what
gotta up
creativity.
my I gotta up my posting, and cause I was doing so good. I had did the 31-day challenge, even in the midst
Mm-hmm.
of health challenges and stuff. I persevered the 31 days. And I was talking to Danielle last night, and child went in there and counted up that inventory. I'm sitting on $8,000 worth of inventory right now. And I said, girl, you is a fool. Like, what are we doing? And so now it's just forcing me to, okay, how to do, like, I even have people asking me, I ain't really good at editing, but I got
Mm-hmm.
people saying, can you edit my work for me? So
Mm-hmm.
it must be good enough, that somebody wants me to help them out. And so again, man, thank you so much.
No, no
Thank you
problem.
so much.
No problem. And we need to understand that where we are, somebody's aspiring to be.
Right.
So, but we're so busy looking at where we want to go that we oftentimes forget, like, yo, like I've come a long way, in doing X, Y, and Z, or doing this. And so even when it comes to the editing perspective, somebody doesn't know a lick of editing.
Right.
So you may be at level 3, but they're at level
Yeah, little,
0,
yeah.
and they're saying, hey, how can I get to level 3? Can you help me get to level 3? And but if we spend so much time thinking about level 10 that we want to get to, we won't be appreciative for level 3 that we're on, and we won't help anybody. So get to work. Get to
Yeah.
work.
So y'all, that's his at Adrian Davis now. This tee I got on this Pariah. He got some amazing hats. My hats in storage. I wanted to show him, but they in storage. He got some amazing hats. He does the hats that he has on his head. What else do we have? He is a photographer. So if you're in the LA area, or if you want to bring him to where you are, go ahead and go to his Instagram, all of his information there. But what I want y'all to do is get your hind parts over there and come to Dallas. Cause it's gonna be a time.
Dallas is gonna be a
It's going to be a time. And just for him coming on from tonight, I think it's already started here because it's 8:56. So from tonight until Saturday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, if you use the code commas all caps on MD on Beauty website, you'll get some money off. So
That's
y'all,
what I'm talking about.
COMMAS. We got our hoodies up. We got the setting spray. We got the serum. He's one of my customers. He uses the serum too.
I sure
But
do.
but yeah, use commas COMMAS all caps, and you will receive some money off. Mr. Davis, I want to thank you for coming on. This has been absolutely amazing. Y'all, I don't want y'all to miss next week. We have Chris Sands, and then the week after, we have Mr. Howard 365. So, y'all, make sure y'all are tapped in. Make sure you have subscribed to either my YouTube, you follow me on Facebook, or you are following me on Instagram so that you can get the updates. I'm gonna let you close, and then we out of here.
Well, in closing, I just want to say, man, please, let's continue to give each other grace. Nobody has it figured out. Nobody has it all together, and we are human becoming. So we are still working through trying to figure it out. Uh, he definitely would be, Rob. He definitely would be. Yeah.
Why? See, and
Uh,
y'all, yeah, follow them.
but yeah, just give yourself and give others grace to consistently become. Nobody has it all together, and people don't come prepackaged. We got to work with people so that they can become what they need to become, so we can become who we need to become. So yeah, that's my thing.
All right. Well, thank y'all for tuning in. I will see y'all next week, same time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. See y'all later. Bye.
Bye.